Morning, everyone. My name is Kira Walters, and welcome to the second episode of the Entrepreneur's Journey. The Entrepreneur's Journey is JBDC's way of giving our clients and our entrepreneurs an opportunity to see behind the layers of an entrepreneur who we would say has made some achievements that are of note and getting to see and hear what their story has been like as they have progressed along their entrepreneur's journey. So I hope you are as welcome, excited rather, as I am to get into today's feature because today we're going to be talking to a very vivacious and very interesting entrepreneur, an enterprising woman who has moved from career to entrepreneurship after discovering that there was this place called university. Her name is Beverly Thompson, and she is the CEO of Hulaine Strategic Services. Welcome, Beverly.
Thank you, Kira. Good morning. How are
Good
you?
morning to you. I am great. I'm so
And
happy
good
to have you
morning
here.
to the JBDC Facebook
Whoever is here
family.
listening to us. Yes, we're on Facebook Live and we're obviously going to be in what we call our Forever Land after this.
Yes, at home, right?
So how
Right.
have you been doing in this time?
I am good. I say good. Good doesn't mean that you're good every day. Good just means that when you look at all the days and you look at what's going well and what's not going so well, good is usually the list, that side that has the longest number of items. And you balance
Okay,
out your life like that. Yeah. So, yeah.
that sounds like a good recipe for what's happening today in this kind of uncertain time and you just don't know what's going to happen next. So tell us
Yes.
about your company, Hulaine Strategic Services.
Okay, so my company, Hulaine Strategic Services, we say we do sales transformation through sales effectiveness and sales enablement. And what that really means is that we're very passionate about results and outcomes. And so we want to know that any of the interventions that we use, they are effective and people are getting results from them. We say enablement because of the number of strategies and tools that we use to, to support the sales organization or the sales community. So whether it be through compensation plans, through sales process, through sales playbooks, sales training, sales coaching, leadership development, those are all the things that we do to support the entire gamut of the sales organization. And so we do two types of workshops. We do public ones, and we do most of our workshops are in-house, so they are customized. So you will never ever have a sales training delivered for company A in the same way as for company B, because we're very strategic and we seek to understand what the goals are, what the outcomes that you're seeking to get, and we design our training programs or our coaching programs to match your strategy and your business drivers. That's what we're highly customized, and that's what we do.
Okay, so you're primarily as coaching and training entity. That's the mode for
Coaching,
your.
training, strategy.
Okay, and what are some of the companies? I don't know if you can name names, but what are the types, if you don't want to get to the name, the type of
Oh,
companies that you work with?
all right, that's an interesting question because I myself think I've worked in almost every industry since I've started this business. So I moved from FMCG, which is consumer and distribution. I'm in manufacturing. I am in real estate. I'm in banking. I'm in insurance. I'm in communications, marketing, branding companies, construction. And so I feel now like I am a little, industry. I've had the opportunity and blessed to be working with so many industries. And so I understand a lot of things that happen in terms of the value chain, the supply chain, and just how things work in all of those industries.
Wow. I was curious about the types of entities because, you know, sales in a product type entity is probably a little different in a service type entity. And then with all of the different types of sectors and industries that you've just mentioned, there's such diversity. What can you say in your experience has been is there anything rather that is different in how you approach sales in one or the other?
Yes,
If there is.
absolutely. Absolutely. So let me get a little breakdown. You have consumer sales where you sell to customers. And that could mean you're distributing through the supermarkets or through a retail place where you sell cosmetics or dresses or shoes, etc. And that's more consumer type, lifestyle types of training where it's more person to person, or engagement rather, where it's more person to person. It's commoditized, it's transactional, the sale is quicker right there. And then there's on the other side of it where you have business to business. And that's where a company has a dedicated person or a team of persons who will reach out to other businesses to sell to them. The skill set, they have to be very, very different. Because in the consumer side, you're appealing to persons' aspirations, you're appealing to my lifestyle, what I would like to be able to do, spending my money, I can feel better, it helps me, it moves me along, it progresses me forward. And so it's a lot of person to person, very short term. You go in the store, somebody talks to you, I want a pair of shoes to go to a party. Where are you going to the party? Who is going to be there? What's the theme of the party? And the person helps you to select a pair of shoes that is that is likely to be fitting to the party. Now, in business to business, it's a whole different conversation. You are now reaching out to a company, usually probably medium or bigger. The small ones tend to operate almost like, you know, huge individual sole trader kind of entity. For the business to business entity, you are dealing with a process. You're dealing with a system. You're dealing with a group of persons who have set up maybe a strategic plan, a business plan, business drivers. They've decided what they want their goals to be for that particular year. So it could be, I don't know, make more money, cut some money, save some costs somewhere, or be more efficient, or be more productive, or help my staff to be more, I don't know, engaging. If it's a sales team, I want them to make bigger sales, increase the pipeline. And so it is in that realm that you sell your product. And so you have to understand what the focus is of the business to business consumer and have the conversation right there so you can bring what is called value, deep value, and you can bring insight. That means you're educating your customer so that you can tailor what it is that you have to sell into that place where they say, I want to improve my business life at this point in time. So it's two different spheres. And then when it gets to the industry, so distribution is different. So like recently I did training for FMCG, fast moving goods. That means you're selling, you know, pharmaceutical, you're selling stuff to supermarket. That's a whole different engagement. What does pipeline mean for fast moving goods? It's very different from an insurance company. And so that's where I come in. I move across with a lot of fluidity, flexibility, and keeping the core, and to ensure that the businesses achieve their own objective based on what they tell me.
How long have you been doing this? I know, it's a lot. It's a lot. How long have you been doing this?
Okay, how long have I been doing this? Sorry.
Hulaine, yes. How long have you been doing this training?
4 years. Hulaine, 4 years, but doing sales based from retail and B2B most of my professional life.
All right, so here's the question now.
Yes.
Say, how have you seen a shift or the change in, say, maybe 15, 20 years ago in how sales is done to how sales is done now? I mean, with the different channels that are available, and even this whole notion of hard sell, soft sell type of thing.
More than 360 degree. If you could pivot something 2 times, yeah, pivot it 2 times.
Spin it from 2 times.
Yeah, 2 times. Well, and unfortunately, some persons haven't realized yet that it has pivoted 2 times, and we're still in the car salesman, high salesman kind of thing. So let me give you some background. 15 years ago, as you put it back, take, for example, a retail place. For you to know what they have available in terms of their cosmetics or their shoe or their dresses or what they have to sell, you would have to go up to the store, physically go there to see what they have available, right? Yeah. So fast forward to 15 years now, you do not have to do that anymore. You have all the information at your fingertips on whatever device, through whatever channel online, and you are able to review what that is, see what other persons have to say about it, whether it is good or bad, it's a good quality, what makes it up, where is it available, who has what price. And so you can decide, you start your research long before you enter the store, whether you buy here or you buy overseas and bring it down through one of these shipment companies. So that's the difference. The fundamental difference is that consumers are a whole lot more educated, and we have access to information, and we now have so much information that sometimes it even confuses us to the level of information that we have. And that's on the retail consumer side. On the business to business side, oh man, it is much more serious. So you used to have what is called brochures, you know, those product brochures. Mm-hmm. And those big booklets that tell you what the system does or what the AC unit does or software does or whatever you are selling. And that is what you would have had in your business as your information that you have developed for yourself to give to your customers, or you get from the manufacturer overseas and you share that physical document with the customer. Now, you are the only person who have that information, and the customer does not have access to it. So that means you are armed. You almost hold a handle. You have all the information. You have it. And the customer is at your beck and call in terms of what they get from you and what you share with them. Fast forward 15 years to now, the business-to-business customer begin their search online. Brochures, I think brochures hardly exist anymore. People really don't use physical pieces of paper, because I can go online and find all the products within that range, compare the features, compare who is using them, how are they used in the industries, in my industry, how does it work, what are the pitfalls, what are the risks, what are the benefits. And so I have all the information. So when now I'm engaging a salesperson, you better come to the table with more than what the internet told me. Because if you're not telling me more than what the internet told me, then really and truly. And so selling has fundamentally changed. You still need salespeople, but you do not need people who just regurgitate a product feature, and they can just sell a physical product and buy a product. That has changed.
That's an excellent point, though. I have to make a stick a pin right there. So you're saying it's not about talking about the product and its wonderful features anymore. So what kind of salesperson we know? Yes, this is that given that the salesperson has to be knowledgeable about the product. So yes. What is it that makes a salesperson effective now?
Excellent question. So you must know your product. Product knowledge is standard. You know, almost like how Wi-Fi used to be, I don't know, expected or something. Wi-Fi is now oxygen. Yeah, right. So know your product. That is what you're supposed to do. The new salesperson need to educate themselves on all fronts. So yes, you know your product, but you have to step out of your own company, out of your own industry, and understand what's happening with your customer in their own space, so you can understand the game. You have to play at different levels in the business. You have to know different persons at different levels in the business, because now it is a team that you're buying from and not necessarily a person. You now have to justify why they should spend that kind of money with you to buy the product that you are selling. You have to understand the customer's goals. Where are they going? What do they want to achieve? What are their priorities? Because it is in that space you're going to identify what are some of the gaps, what they want to do, and how my product advances that for the customer. And so you talk about insight selling, you talk about consultative selling. Insight just means that you need to know a whole lot more than your customer. You need to understand what your customer's competition is doing. You need to understand what other people in the industry are doing, so that when I'm coming to you, I am giving you advice. I am shaping the way how you think about implementing that thing in your own business. And so I am not just a product knower. And that's a fundamental. Huh?
You're a strategist. You're not just a product seller. You're a strategist. I'm hearing the strategy where the strategy comes in. No.
Yes, and that's where, and then that is in terms of just how you sell. The individual as a person, you now need to have a brand to protect your brand. What do you know? How do you know it? How have you helped? Who say you know what you say? So people can make reference to you. Are you in the professional spaces? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you demonstrating your knowledge? When it comes to your sales DNA, I don't know, are you accountable? Are you accustomed to structure? Do you want to deliver results, or you just want to play, fluffy in the air and so on? Are you sticking to a process? Are you using the CRM tool that is given to you? Do you have the right mindset that will get you up every day and greet each day with a renewed spirit and new venom, so that you can then go off? Because here's what, in sales, right? And this is important in sales for anybody who is watching. Emotions are transferable.
Oh, preach.
They're transferred to the person to whom you are speaking. People buy from people. They buy from you. And you could have the best product in the world, working the best way. If you are not able, if you don't believe it yourself, and if you're not able to influence someone else to believe in it, then you need to fix that part or get out of sales. Because some of us DNA is not really for selling. So you need to, it is transferable. So if I am saying to you that, boy, Kira, I'm coming this morning, and I really am happy to be here. I'm happy to be here.
Really
that is
happy.
A very different thing than saying, Kira, I am here. I would like to help the Jamaica Business Development Corporation this morning, help more people watch their Facebook page. I am so excited, and I believe it can work. It has worked in the past for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and if you do 1, 2, 3, it will work. Where do we start?
My ears are perked. I can tell that there's a definite difference, and that's one of the things that I said to you when we first spoke a couple of days ago, that you are a natural person at you're gifted at this, as in to sell and it's not selling, it is about that exchange that you're talking about. It's the DNA is there, where you're able to naturally engage, get attention, and be believable.
Right. I just want to make one more point about transference of emotion and so on. The salesperson needs to also be a growth mindset person. Yeah. You need to believe that things can change. You need to believe that your customer can move. You have to be futuristic in your thinking. Because if you are stuck, you are also going to be stuck with how you engage and how you plan and how you see your customer's own performance in the future. So that's why the whole DNA and how you think and your mindset and your what you think about growth and whether you're stuck or whether you are a fixed mindset, all of that needs to come together in a nice package so that you can influence and serve people. And customer service is at the heart of selling. If you don't plan to serve, or you don't want to be a customer service person, or you don't want to deliver an end-to-end experience, sales is not for you. You cannot separate them.
Yeah, got it. I was gonna ask you about that mindset thing, but I think you've explained it fairly well. I want to, and also make a point about that DNA thing that you mentioned, and if it's not for you. We are talking to this audience primarily, I'm expecting is to be entrepreneurs themselves. A lot of them who may start out as the primary person who is pushing their business, and so not everybody, as you know, is all sunshine and rays and has that natural ability to sell, to engage
Yes.
and be there.
Right.
You started out, I don't know if you can give any kind of, what would you say to those persons in terms of maybe doing a self-assessment, and after doing that a self-assessment, what hope is there for that person who may just at this point in time does not feel comfortable being a salesperson?
Being a salesperson. Here's how I would answer that question. Anybody who chooses to be an entrepreneur, you are already brave. You are already a brave person. You already have some of that DNA that we talk about. So let's get that straight. Entrepreneurship, especially in this country, is not a very, very easy journey. And the fact that you have decided, you have identified a product or create a product or make a product or partner with someone, you are already brave. Own that, acknowledge it, and stand in your greatness for that. Pause and take that. So that's one thing. Breathe that in. Let's get into the technical piece now. You're already great. You're already brave. So what I find is that lots of people who say, I can't sell, it's our understanding of what sales is. That is why we say we can't sell. And many times they're already selling, but the products are not moving. But it's just a matter of the technical execution of what you're doing, and that can be learned. You can also improve. Everybody, we're all on a trajectory here. We're all growing, we're all learning. And so from the mindset perspective, then you can continue to feed your soul and feed your mind. And my friend would say, police your mind and police your, your brain, so that you can continue to improve. But the technical execution. So if you see sales as you bothering somebody and they should be sorry for you, to give you money for your product, then you're in trouble. If that's how you see it. And so you're already brave enough to start your business, but you need to understand from your perspective, your why you started the business, why you are in that product. You need to understand very clearly who you're going to serve. You can hear a lot of terms for that, either profile of customer avatar in the digital space, the right customer, whoever your target customer, whoever that person is, you need to profile them up properly. Because those are the persons you want to find wherever they are, digital, offline, wherever they are, you find them. So that's one piece a lot of us don't get right. We're sometimes going after the wrong persons and using our energy and lots of our focus in the wrong spaces. So you get your profile of your customer right. And then if you get your profile of your customer right, and when you were starting your business, you understand very clearly what the value proposition was. Value proposition is what is it that you offer that is very different from everybody else, and why that person should buy that thing from you. And so you line those two things up. And so if you line them up properly, you believe in what you have, you understand your target customer or your customer profile or your avatar, you go find them where they are supposed to be. Then when you are in that space operating, it is likely that you'll find more people who are interested in that product that you have. And then you line up your messaging. What are you going to say? And how do you arrive at the messages? The message is the problems that I have. The message is a problem that your target market have. And then how do you solve those issues or problems or create opportunities for your target customer? And so when someone doesn't buy, you move on. You nurture them. You continue to give them information or send them something. Use digital, send them email, call them, WhatsApp. They may not be ready to buy yet. But the trick is, how do you find more people who are ready to buy in the right
It's about
places?
being focused.
It's about being very, very focused. And understanding
I hear you,
and have your definition of selling right. You're not sorry for nobody, you're not run down nobody. That's not what you're doing. You're seeking to change the life of somebody else, whether it is personal or business. And in these days, they're like this. They kind of merge.
Yeah.
Right.
You talk about mindset a lot.
Yes.
We talk about mindset a lot, and that's something that we here at JBDC also work a lot. It's actually a we have training programs that just deal with mindset alone at every level, at the startup level, the beginner level.
Yes.
It is a critical thing because it actually require that mindset is a continuous learning and growth thing. As you said, you talk about the fixed mindset versus the
Yes.
growth mindset. You
Yes.
have to be always learning. So each phase that you go in the journey, the mindset has to expand and
Yes.
adapt to that space.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
want to pass in
absolutely
your
correct.
business a little bit.
Passing my
Yes,
business. Oh no, we talk about
yes.
entrepreneurship.
And that is who you are. Based on what I'm looking at here, it says that you started out as a career woman, yes,
Mm-hmm.
before you got into entrepreneurship. So
Yes.
you are an entrepreneur first.
Yes.
I want to hear about how that transition happened. You know, how did you move from that? I don't know if you would think that girl that didn't know where what I there was a place called university. Tell us about that girl
How
and
much
how
time
she
do you
got.
have? So we have to start somewhere in the middle, right?
Yes, tell us
Right.
how
Well,
you got started in your career.
I'll do a short version. Um,
Yeah.
my story, I don't think is different from many other stories. It's just that some of us tell our stories, and some of us are more out there than others. So people get to know your story, right? But there are many stories like mine. And for those people who are listening, your story and my story, we're all in this thing together, same story. So at 16 years old, somehow, don't ask me why, I technically didn't have anywhere to live. Technically, just found myself nowhere to live, and for about 4 or 5 months or so, I just enjoyed life and had a wonderful time. I think I got a little bit of money and my clothes, and I bought all the snacks I needed and liked, and somebody took me in, and uh, and that was good. She's now passed, and may the Lord bless her, Miss May. She saw me and she said, "Come here, child. No, 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 no. Come. I'm going to take care of you." And then very quickly, within about 9 months or so, I recognized that being idle is not something that is suggestive, because where we're living, quite a few of us were living there, and things were tough. And even though things were better where I was coming from, things were tough in this environment. And so I told myself I have to find a job. And I owned a pair of size 9 shoe, and I actually wear size 10. And I decided that it's gonna work. So I worked with my basket and my spoon and my whatever. And I took the bus and I went downtown and I found a place that employed people. And I found myself in a wholesale, and I worked, because that is what I could do. First day I get paid, I spent off all the money, bought up all the food downtown, because I felt so grateful to the home I was living. And when I went home, Miss May said, "So where's your bus fare to go back next week?" I said, "Okay, I'm supposed to have bus fare. All right, cool, no problem." So somebody lent me money to go back to work. So I worked there, and then fast forward, Kingberg, a couple other places, and I even worked at a meat shop. So now when I go to the market, I can weigh things, technically. And they said, "Oh, your hands are good." I said, "No worry, man. I used to this a little bit some time ago." But what was funny is that in all of those jobs that I was doing, I didn't know, I didn't have a vision that I would move forward to another place, another level, because I wasn't so aware. I was focusing on survival. And my customers would say to me, "You sound different for everybody else in here. You speak so nice. Are you so smart? What are you doing in here? Let me see you next week, man. Find a work." What are they saying? However, I began to investigate, and then I realized that there was better than what I was doing. And so I left and I moved on, and I went to Statin. I did my subjects, and then I entered telecoms, cable and wireless at the time. And I entered there as a clerk, doing regular front desk duties, sales, and customer service. So all my experiences in the lower paying jobs, I drew on them and I used them in my customer service and the sales roles at Cable and Wireless. Over the years, I progressed and moved up to senior management, where I was doing business to business sales, and I was managing what you call premium accounts right across the region, implementing networks, implementing systems, real techie kind of communication system across businesses with multiple locations, and doing my MBA at the same time. And thank God for Cape Town Wireless, I got scholarship to do my MBA. And then I left and finished school and went to Europe and enjoyed myself a little bit. Money finished, came back, and I said I wanted to work in banking. And so because I liked the shoes and stocking thing at the time, and I said I would work in banking. However, there was this little company, and this is where it's important to understand where businesses are going and how they're going to transform a landscape. So I was invited for an interview at Flow, or Legacy Flow, or the first Flow, and I didn't pay much mind, to be honest, because I wanted to work in the big banks, nice banks. I just finished MBA in finance and banking, and so that was important to me. And a techie guy who I knew called me up and said, Beverly, come here. We're about to do something major. We're about to change this country. I said, show me. And I'm technical, so he showed me what was happening, and I said, okay, yeah, man, I'm good. Come on, I'm fine. Did the interviews, and they said I did well. I called me back, and I landed the job because I saw where this thing Flow was going to change the entire place. And the job was about, I was one of the first few employees. There's nothing there, white paper. All we had was the logo on the vans driving around, and the men working in the communities, stringing up the communities and laying fiber and so on. And so I had the tremendous opportunity to visualize what that sales, I was in sales, I was in customer service, I was in telemarketing, and we worked together as a team and visualized what we wanted that company to be as a startup, and that was an amazing experience. And I left after 2.5 years because I easily get bored, and I claim I was migrating. And I landed in the financial crisis on September 3 in 2008, because I should have left before, but I didn't want to leave my good job. But I eventually left and said, hey, I have to leave by my husband. And we said, yeah, man, we're leaving. We're going to explore the world and enjoy adventure. We want to see what else, because we love Europe. And when I went to England, it was very different from Jamaica. Can I tell you? Everything was locking down, all the banks were going, and I had a job, got a job, but I didn't want to work in that environment as a financial service specialist in banking. You hear that? Financial service specialist in banking. I don't know who could land up but God, because I had never done a job like that, and I was recruited to do that job. So I got the job, and then I used the opportunity to travel across Europe. I went to Egypt and a couple other countries, because I knew I probably would have been there for a short while. And while I was there, I learned an entire way of existing and working and learning and implementing through the English system. They're very process driven, very result driven, measuring, that kind of thing. And so I was baptized. Training was 3 to 4 months before you could step on the floor. You could not step on that floor until you've gone through this 3 to 4 months of training. Drop in ice, wear the wrong shoes, take the wrong train, take the wrong bus, end up in the wrong place. At some point in time, I just cried and said, Lord, what did I do?
You left the nice stocking wearing job.
Yes, yes. But it was good. It was good, and it set the stage for who I am now. When I came back to Jamaica, and I went to Digicel for some months, and I helped them to launch 4G, and then I left Digicel, and I came back to Flow. And at Flow, I entered another transformational journey again, because the retail stores there that we had were more customer service driven. And my job was to transform them into revenue generating centers. And because of how much I believed in customer service, I said, I'm going to name it service-based selling. And so we transformed that whole bit. And while I was doing it, I never had to train the people myself, but because I couldn't find the training I needed, and of course, budget was a challenge, I trained the people myself. I came out every Sunday for a number of weeks and did the basic sales training among the 100 plus retail group at the time, do it myself. because I wanted them to get the basics. And I had to succeed. I don't have any failure bone in my body. So I needed to make sure that I have a team behind me that was that had at least the basics. And then we gave them some more training. And then this is a message for people who are working in 9 to 5 and we are given something to do and we think that we are not given enough resources and we think we're not resourceful and we shouldn't do outside of the job description or the objectives. This is a message for people who are in that situation. I took it on myself. I wanted to ensure that they were successful and I was successful, and somebody else saw what we were doing and nominated us for what is called a Stevie Award, a global award, which I was totally unaware of, didn't know anything about it. And I won that award in 2015. So I'm giving a chopped up versions of the story. It was for coaching, it was for sales leader of the year and retail coaching program of the year. I got 2 of them. Because of how I handled. And based on what happened there, it also serves the foundation for how I executed my entrepreneurial journey now. Because what that meant was training was delivered, and I took up the training and made it into result-driven, objective-driven, measuring-driven activities that transform the concepts into the real world, and made it engaging, fun, gamified, etc., so that the business could benefit from the money that they spent. And so
I want to stick a pin right there, so. Stick a pin right there, so.
Yes.
You just tell me one whirlwind.
I just chopped it up, yes.
I know. I can just imagine that there's so much in between the parts that are still untold.
Yes.
But you're transitioning now because after flow, it's when you move into your entrepreneurial journey.
Yes.
I want to know what was in your head. Was there a definitive time when you said, I'm going to leave this path of career life and now start my own self-directed enterprise?
Okay. So years before, I didn't say to myself, I'm going to start my own business. What I knew I was doing for sure is whatever I was learning from 2 perspectives. I was learning because I wanted to learn to execute in the world, in the job, and I also wanted to learn so I could tell other people about it. Long time I've been doing that, early days. Anything I was exposed to in sales, I was learning from 2 perspectives, and I kept 2 sets of notes. And so in 2015, the opportunity presented itself. I had already worked at Cable and Wireless some 10 years before that and left that job. And when Line bought Flow, I was back at the same company I left before. Great company, but I decided that I think I've done a lot of things that could have been done in this space. The next place for me is probably CEO or something. So why not take all of that experience and knowledge and take it out into the entrepreneurial world and help others? That's why I left and exited the corporate world.
And so there was not necessarily a moment that you were uncertain, or it was never a doubt that okay, or a thought that okay, my path is to go and head up, maybe be CEO of Flow or be CEO of one.
Well, I wouldn't say the path wasn't. I wouldn't say I didn't consider it. But there's that consideration. But sometimes
what made the difference in choosing? I just want to know if there was something that what was that why? What was that why for you?
That why
you could have
because I worked very, very hard over the years, extremely hard. You want to know what hard work is? Ask me. I can tell you what hard work look like. And I wanted to take a step back from the corporate driven strategy and just there driving all the time. I wanted to take a step back from that That's one. Two, the opportunity when the company bought the other company, it was just there smacking my face, and I had two decisions to make. And I was also presented with job offers, which made it a whole lot more difficult. And I chose that. I'm also someone who I start things. Most of my jobs, there haven't been any job description or anything that existed. I'm the first person or among the first to do it. I'm very accustomed to starting things. I'm okay with risk. I'm okay with adventure. I love the unknown. And so I'm always yearning and seeking to find more. There is more, and can I do more on my own without the support of a corporate organization? And am I strong enough? Yes, I am, because I've been through worse than this before and I survived. So when you have taken risks over time, risk after a while don't feel so bad, especially when you have support. Now I have support. I have my hobby, and he has a full-time job, so I wouldn't go, die for hunger. So I just wanted to try that one more thing of risk, and I didn't think that corporate would have given me that. And coupled with my innate yearning to want to help and pass on knowledge and empower others with what I know and what I've experienced.
So it just emerged.
It emerged. Yes.
As you discovered.
Yes, it emerged, yes.
I like how you have, you've kind of outlined for us your DNA, your entrepreneurial DNA, and that it lies in that natural risk or adventure. You call it adventure. I like that word, adventure. You see risk as adventure, so it doesn't scare you, it excites you.
But you know where it started? It started from the fact that when I was 16, I had to face how many 16-year-olds that have nowhere to live and had to survive and make it on your own. And so over the years, you have to make it. I am not going to fail. I'm not going to break. I have to make it. And so it becomes, you didn't know that's what you were doing, but it becomes a part of your DNA. So you love new and exciting things and go find out things. Give me a piece of white paper, and I'm a happy girl. I'm good. I'll write on it.
Beverly, you are an exception. Or maybe you are a part of that 1% of the population that they say are comfortable with that, because there are people who are faced with less adventurous situations than that, and they break. It's not as they don't. The mindset is different, as you keep talking to. But I like what you said earlier, in that there is this thing called a fixed versus a growth mindset, and anybody, even if you thought that you were on the fixed side, there is the opportunity to shift by just opening up, saying to yourself,
absolutely, yes, absolutely, yes.
Do I want to stay here, or do I want to open myself up to some more? And then start to learn, because it sounds to me that that's what you did. You just started to learn.
Oh, yes.
You discovered things.
On the entrepreneurial journey, yes. It's a learning, because in the first 8-9 months of me stepping away, I didn't do anything. I got 1 or 2 jobs here, but here's what my challenge was. I was accustomed to being in corporate, senior management, having all the props around you, HR, inventory, everybody around you to props you up. And I have 200 employees and I'm directing a choir. Strategic. I love that space. That's where I ended up. And when you step aside now into your own business and say, yeah, man, you're going to start your own business. Now, what the hell does that look like? How do I take all of this knowledge and transfer it into a consumable product? What does that look like? And it was a very difficult journey. It was very hard. How do I do that? I didn't know how to do that. And so I read and I attended. They're talking about webinars now. I have been doing webinars now for about 4 years. Webinars, reading, and just getting yourself into that zone of how you would operate, because I want to serve well. And it wasn't until, I'm in business for 4 years, but I really didn't start until about a year later. I had my first workshop on December 6th, 2016. My first workshop, and 30 people turned up.
That's a bad number, really.
I could not believe it, that people just turned up for my workshop. I said, what?
Yeah, I love that you said that. And I love that you said that after everything that you said before about all of the success and where you have been. And what you said that I want people to focus on here is that for about a year, you
Yes,
didn't do anything. And that didn't do anything means that you were in startup mode.
yes,
Startup mode
yes,
means that you are learning,
yes.
learning,
Learning
learning.
and planning.
Yes, learning
Yes,
what you're
yes.
supposed to be doing and testing, learning and
And
testing. That's something
exactly.
that we try to get even people who come into our doors who
Yes,
have been operating for some time but didn't do that process. They just went in and just started doing it, but they haven't sat back, take a moment to see what do I know. They haven't taken in the learnings. They haven't allowed themselves to process, and then, as you said before, take some notes and
yes,
say, okay, this is
yes,
now going to become your process. This is now going
yes,
to become your strategy. All of those
yes,
things
yes.
that you have
Take
been
some,
doing.
yes, absolutely,
Yes.
yes.
I,
And,
I,
and
go ahead.
and the point I want to make, that process helps you in your ability to sell.
Absolutely.
Because it is
Absolutely.
in going through that process, you have to define who you are. Who am I? Why me? Why should you talk to me? What do I bring to the table? And be very confident about it.
Mm.
And when you develop that product, what are the benefits of that? Who does it help? Why does it help you? What, that kind of thing. And so, because people are buying from your face and who you are, if you don't believe in it and you can't express it well, then you're going to have some challenges, and you have to go through the preparation mode. It is not easy, but it's a journey that you have to go through.
It is an uncomfortable space for a lot of people. It's that space where it's uncertain and you don't know, and it's easier to tell yourself that there is some fixed and structured way to do this, and you're going to stick to that, which is the fixed mindset, as opposed to saying, I really don't know what I'm doing. I know what I
Get
want
help.
to do. I know what
And
I
get
want to
help.
do. And
Yes.
get help to do it. Just
Get-
start to ask. But the first place, but that's the way when you the first progress point of progress for the person who needs help is to admit that they need help.
Yes. Get help.
Right? Or
Yes.
just admit that you have a problem. And the problem
Right.
might be, in this case, I don't know what I am doing.
Yes, yes. It
All
doesn't
right.
matter who you are and how successful you are. We all need to find help. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, some quick answer questions now. What has been the most significant moment in your entrepreneurial journey? What is it that has made the most significant impact on you?
Impact on me.
Hmm?
Maybe it's my customer success stories. Is that okay?
And who Beverly is,
On who I am.
and maybe how that has caused you to make decisions re business. So it
Okay,
can just be
so
a personal impact, or how it
right,
has caused you to do something re business.
right. So whatever I do for others make an impact on me,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a learning process, and you doubt yourself sometimes. No matter who you are, no matter how positive I sound and exciting, there are days that you just doubt yourself whether or
Has,
not you could.
has there been a one engagement, a one interaction that impact was so significant that it really connected with you?
I have a customer that wanted to do some work, and they told me that, boy, Bev, I need to do XXX, and I wasn't sure I could do it. It was more in the consumer space. I wasn't sure I could do it, but I went back to the drawing board, put myself where I used to be in my 8 to 5, 9 to 5 work, and
Mm-hmm.
sat with them and figured it out. And I didn't expect them to say yes, to be honest. I didn't expect them to say yes because of how the engagement was. Because you have to talk to different people, top, down, crossway, all over, and so on. And so people are testing your knowledge, they're testing whether or not you can do it. And you may have signed off on it in the back of your head and say, boy, no, it's not going to happen. Move on to it. And then somebody calls you and says, Bev, come, we need you to present to CEO or whoever. And you go there, you're still doubting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I just went back to the basics, and employed the basics, and I got the job and I executed. Within about 3 months or so, the particular product that they could not move, very barely moving it. They were moving it through the window, through the doors, flying off. And
what did you learn about yourself? What did you learn about yourself from that?
Learn that trust the process. Because in that process, there are ebbs and flows. It doesn't go straight, and you can't always define and control what that process looks like. And when you're just about to give up, that's when the success is on the other side, when you're just about to give up. And so it teaches you that you really have to go through the journey and know that when it is hardest, you are closest to success.
Was it, do you think it was more, because it sounded, that was like a total space of vulnerability there, when you say you just don't know what you're really doing and you're kind of feeling your way about it. Was that just gut instincts? Was that just your instinct driving you at that point?
Yeah, because your instincts step in. You know at your core that you can do it. But when you probably step in a strange place and you're dealing with different persons, a different industry for the first time, because you have to put your head in there and be them. You have to be who they are so that you can deliver what they want. And being who they are takes a while. You have to talk to people, understand. Sometimes even put in a lot of hours. Research. If I tell you the research I did on that product, on that project, now when I look at it, it was amazing. And that's why I got the job. I did the groundwork. I did the research. And so when I was about to give up, I got it.
Came through.
Yeah, and so what it does, it strengthens you for other things. When I see it again, it's a boy, you know, I see this before, you know, I see this before. Keep the journey, keep at it. And get people in your corner to support you. That's when you think it's no, other people are saying, yeah, man, go and go through, my girl.
All right, next question. Worst event, worst situation so far on the journey.
Worst situation on the journey. Oh, Lord. Go in a couple of months, like you don't know how you're going to live next month. With a clue, no clue. There are days that you just don't know. And getting up, and see this thing about mindset, I have to come back to mindset. That mindset of believability, you have to see it happening. You have to envision that all the plans that I've made is not going in the way that I planned it, but it's going to work out. All the things I'm working on, something is going to come through. And you have to see it in its completed state, in its completion, even before it's done. And you have to dig deep to find that, because if you don't find that, you're going to stay down into the, I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm going to worry. You worry for a few moments or a half a day, and you get up and you brush off and you say, I see it. It's going to happen. The universe is conspiring. And what's amazing is that it happens. So my husband said to me, he said, me and the universe have a special relationship. He tells me that all the time. Me and the universe have a special relationship because he doesn't understand how it just delivers what I want.
I call it faith. Call it faith. All right, what's next for you? What's the next quest? What's the next adventure?
Well, COVID-19 has catapulted and has kind of enforced you in a space that you should have been long before. The virtual and online space should have been. My mentors told me, everybody told me. But you know, when you have jobs coming and you're going and you kind of don't pay as much attention to that. So that's a brand new opportunity right now that I'm actually in right now. And my customers are supporting me on it. A couple of the things that I've done, this has happened. I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to sit and, you know, because I have had a couple of workshops postponed, canceled because of what's happening. My phone is ringing. Bev, we want you to do this. Do it virtually. Yes, we will. Bev, do some webinars for me. Yes. And I'm calling my customers. But the very first thing I did was to reach out to my customers and say, how can I help you? Because I know that in the sales world with customer service and salespeople, it's emotional. They're going through a lot. And how can I serve you? How can I help? I've also started a series of what I now call the Hulaine Mastermind series, where I'm interviewing professionals. And because I'm helping my customers and my community to answer some questions, to guide them through that process. So I'm in the virtual space, and I'm going to be doing a whole lot more in that virtual space. So it's an opportunity for us to, you can't hide away from digital. It is here. You have to embrace it, and you have to be in it. If you're not in it, then
get left.
Yes, technically.
We would say.
Yes.
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 Okay, so that's the next frontier. Do you have a team? What's the size of your team right now?
Well, I had, so here's all my team. I had an assistant who helps me, and I have project-based team members who I call in about 6 people. They do other things, but depending on the size of the project, they come on and they help me. So at a workshop, you may see 4 of us. This time I may see 2. And if I'm working on a big project, I may have 5, 6 people. So I'm project-based. I have 1 full-time employee, and she is with me. She understands me. I started the business with a laptop, a phone, and a website. So I've always been digital and online. So stepping away from the physical office was easy peasy cheesy. It wasn't difficult because that's how I've been operating for the 4 years.
And I don't know if when you spoke a while ago, if that was the depth of it, but have you experienced any undue impact as a result of what's going on? And you mentioned that some events were canceled and so on. But
of course, yes, of course, because you see, you've done the work, you've built your pipeline, and you're fairly comfortable in the jobs and the projects that you have for the next couple of months. They were signed, done deal, I'm good. And within a day or 2, they blow up 0. You know, so I have been significantly impacted. And anybody who is involved in face-to-face training or any kind of face-to-face execution, promotions, marketing, events, you know, entertainment events, we have all been significantly impacted because you're left from a nice fat pipeline to almost 0. But here's what's important now is relationships that we've built, that we've nurtured, and that we have. Because it is in the relationships that we are going to continue to exist. Because does my customer trust me now to deliver virtual training, online? I've been doing it face-to-face. Do they trust me to do it? It's a very big question. And so far, I've been blessed because I've spoken to them and we've been working it out together. So I'm going to be doing some webinars for some of my customers. We're already deciding to do some of the training online. So I am now putting together what that looks like. I am a fun and engaging person in the face-to-face world. And so it's going to be online as well. I'm helping customers with their business continuity plan. What should that look like for your sales and customer service teams? I'm writing. I'm doing some interviews from the mastermind perspective. I'm planning. And I find it real strange that I'm busier than I was before.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Beverly, we have come to about the end of the hour that we're supposed to be, having. I have thoroughly enjoyed the conversation.
Wow.
You have been both edifying, you have been inspiring and motivating, and you've been so real and very relatable.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I can feel your energy, and I can feel from you just why your customers would believe in you, because it is very authentic. I believe what you're saying, and so I think that is probably going to really augur well for you in this time and going forward as it has.
Yes.
I don't know if there's anything that you want to say to conclude to the entrepreneurs that may be listening out there in this time. You've said quite a lot for them. Any brief closing words?
Yes. I would say put on your curiosity hat. Put on your curiosity hat.
Yeah.
Explore. Look wider. Look in new spaces, look in other places, look for trends, see what's going on, because there is an opportunity, or there are opportunities swirling around in all of this for you. But if we sit, and just kind of, not doing anything, we won't see them, we won't find them, or if they come to us, we may not be prepared for them. So get yourself ready, because on the other side of this, things will not look the same for sure. The things will change, how we interact, how we move about, everything will change. But in all of this, there's an upside. Keep looking for it. Invest in yourself. Get out of this stronger on the other side in terms of what you learn, and strengthen yourself. Hold up yourself. Get help. Read. I'm reading now, for example. I have a couple books on Audible.
Audible.
And I have a few physical books. Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Audible.
So pop up yourself, get strong, educate yourself. So on the other side, you're so aware that you can see the opportunities, go find them, seek them, explore them, because entrepreneurship will be busier, be more alive, I think. The platforms will change, it's gonna be more digital, but then people will still be talking to people. So prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for the other side of COVID, because there is an upside.
Thank you so much, Beverly. Thank you. That, as I said, it was very, very, such a wonderful and informative discussion. We had this morning Beverly Thompson, CEO of Hulaine Strategic Services, providing sales and training and coaching services in the area of sales. Just dropping nuggets after nuggets for us this morning. We just want to say thank you, and we wish you all the best, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yes, and I want to say thank you too for this opportunity. Super, super, super thank you. And a big thank you to your community who listened this morning. And all the best, and keep safe.
You're most welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. So there we have it.
Ending.